started the stream just because I thought, hey, I think the stream needs a theme. I just kind of went live before, so I guess I have to give it a couple minutes again. It's 1 a.m. my time. Yeah, I was up late tonight filming the shorts for the week, scheduling them and stuff like that. And I thought, hey, I kind of want to chat about aliens. I think I only had one video about aliens this week that got uploaded, but I think it's cool. I wanted to chat about specifically what's happening in Colombia right now, like the little trend of these little metallic spheres being recorded floating in the sky. And I'm gonna be real honest, I'm 90% sure it's just a bunch of balloons or maybe like just a little ball attached to a drone. They have drones in South America, especially Colombia. It would not be that hard to get your hands on a drone in Colombia. And yeah, I just wanted to hear some defenses from you guys about what's going on there. Or maybe share some UFO stories. Oh, that'd be so cool. I would love to hear y'all's UFO stories. I don't really have any. I don't really have any experiences with aliens. Yeah, no, not even one. I think I may have like one experience where I may have seen something weird up in the sky. But I'm be real honest. It was probably a helicopter. Just like helicopting. I don't know, what's the verb? Why do they call it a helicopter? Why do they call it a helicopter? Whoa, I should Google that. But yeah, it could be the case that just no one hops on tonight. Normally by this point I get at least a couple of guys, but quién sabe? I guess I could just keep talking. Talking is nice and fun. Yeah, I have been recording this week's shorts, and I've been scheduling to come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And the most recent one was about aliens. And there was a certain thing going on in Colombia that like really interested me this week. And I didn't want to wait till Sunday for you guys to hear about it. There are like these videos of these like metallic orbs just floating around in the sky. And I'm be real honest, I think those orbs are. Oh, hey, Winter. Welcome to the chat. Everyone in the watching, please comment your alien experiences. I want to just chat aliens tonight and like talk about some alien news, specifically something happening in Colombia right now, where there are these like metallic orbs flying around the sky, and specifically, Moist Critical's been talking about them. How many Moist Critical fans we got in the chat? Who here watches Moist Critical? And Winter, tell me how your week's been going, or how your day's been. And any alien experiences you have, if you have any and feel comfortable sharing them. I do have an unhealthy amount of soda behind me. I'm working on it. I really am. But yeah, just to get to those alien videos from Colombia. I'm be real honest. I think they're all fake. I think it's a trend going on in Colombia right now, where people take balloons, or maybe they take like just I don't know where you get a metallic sphere. I'm be real honest. You could just make one. You could find a cool looking one on Amazon, order it, and you attach it to a drone, and you just fly it around and record it. Simple as that. And I think that's what's going on there, and that those are not aliens, because like that would make zero sense. Like one, the balls are like this big, not that large. And two, they're always like wiggling in the air as opposed to like every other piece of UFO lore. Is lore the right word, or footage? And you know, like they just don't wiggle. The UFOs like stay stationary no matter the wind. It's like the wind doesn't even affect them. So the fact that in these videos the wind's affecting them is kind of weird to me, because I do If anyone in the chat's heard of Bob Lazar, Bob Lazar, he is apparently a scientist that worked in Area 51, and he worked on a UFO. And here's the thing, I kind of believe him. I really do. He has like no evidence, but he just like his stories stay the same for so long. It's not like he monetizes the story. He's been like just sharing it just to share it, I guess. I mean, he may just be a really good liar because like I've watched so many hours of videos of like body language analysts, like analyzing him sharing his story of when he worked on UFOs, and every last one of them were like, I don't know. If he's lying, he's really, really good at it. Maria, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? We're talking aliens tonight, Maria. So if you have any alien stories, please share them. I want to hear them. And share them in the chat. Yeah, I just finished recording this week's shorts, Maria, and I thought, hey, I want to talk about aliens with people because, like, way late in the week, I'll have an alien short release. So Mason Nichols, hello, welcome to the chat, Mason. Tonight we're talking aliens, Mason. So if you have any cool alien stories, drop in the chat and we'll talk about it. I just want to talk about aliens with you guys. I I don't have any alien stories from my life personally, so I would love to hear your guys' alien stories. But yeah, Bob Lazar. I totally believe the guy. He went on Joe Rogan a while back. I'm not a regular watcher of Joe Rogan, but I watched the heck out of his episode. And like I was saying, I totally believe the guy worked on UFOs. And so he's like, if it's a UFO video and it doesn't match up with like Bob Lazar's story, then I simply am not going to believe it because I'm like, sorry, like, then I would have to believe that multiple aliens made their way over. And that's just what are the odds, you know? Yeah, yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think, chat? How many of us believe that aliens have like made their way to Earth? I'll give you all a second. I should not be drinking Coke right now, but I am. It's like so late for me. Oh, okay, Maria. Truly don't know. I think that's a pretty good stance. I think I just find Bob Lazar so convincing. I just really do. And like he hasn't backed his claim with anything, really. It's just the way he presents it, I'm like, wow, wow. But I'm gonna say, oh, thanks for subbing, Maria. I hope you enjoy the shorts. I'm trying to stream more often. Yeah, so you hold a similar position, Mason, to me as aliens on aliens. I mean, do any of us in the chat have any alien stories we want to share? I am dying for some cool stories tonight. Thanks for the sub, Maria. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to make my content as good as possible, and I hope you enjoy it. Ah, thanks for subbing, Mason. I appreciate it. I really do. I have I have literally one short a night scheduled, or a day scheduled for the rest of the week. So y'all are gonna be getting one short daily. I used to do 3 shorts a day, but I'm trying to like lower the quantity and up the quality. This is kind of like my new short spot. But if you guys have any ideas of stuff you want to see on the channel, also like let me know about that. Aw, thanks, Mason. I am am trying to make fun videos to watch, and I'm trying to like form a community that like likes looking to paranormal stuff for fun, you know? Yeah, but thank you for the compliment in my videos, Mason. I really do put a lot of effort into them. I am trying to make them better though, so any ideas of what you want to see in the videos, just feel free to share it. Oh, Mary, you've watched my vid. Oh, the long form videos. Yeah, I'm thinking of hiring an editor just to like make higher quality long form content because I've edited all long form content so far, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that good at it. I want this channel to have like Y files level stuff. And problem is, that guy's just so good. I mean, I can put in time to research, but making a high quality video is hard, really hard. Do I use a certain editing app? Um, so for my shorts, I actually use the YouTube app. Oh yeah. For the long form videos, I use DaVinci Resolve to edit them, and surely the only thing keeping the quality down, because I have seen some people do amazing stuff with DaVinci Resolve. The only thing putting down the quality is my skill level, and I'm just not that talented at editing, and I don't have that much time. Oh, Sikander X, welcome to the stream, Sikander. We're talking about aliens tonight. Maria and Mason love my videos, of course, too. So we're also talking about that. But yeah, if you have any alien stories, Sikander, feel free to share it. But yeah, those are what I use, Maria. DaVinci Resolve and the YouTube app for the shorts. I'm trying to make videos that I can make quickly for one, just because I'm a busy boy, you know? And for two, I want them to be high quality still, which is those two things are opposing, you know? My cousin makes videos and uses the same for your videos. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is popular. One, it's really high quality, and two, it is completely free. So, you can't beat free in the price, especially when it's good, you know? But yeah, think. But oh shoot, that is a paragraph, Mason. You are get to the point, okay, where you're getting so good and you're learning more on YouTube. I hope you learn another more and get famous. And we'll be really happy for you. Thanks, Mason. I mean, I would love to build a community large enough to, you know, a large enough community to where we always have someone with like an experience from a certain paranormal corner. My favorite paranormal corner is cryptids, but I think aliens technically count as cryptids as they are animals technically, just from a different spot, and they're animals whose existence isn't confirmed, which is that's what a cryptid is, and yeah. But I also want some ghost paranormal kind of stuff too in this community. I actually have a short scheduled for later today that talks about the ghost of a bellman who still haunts or works at a hotel, and that's gonna be so fun. Oh, and scary stories. I also want to do scary stories here too. I have a question for you, says Mason. Mason, ask away. I'm all ears. Well, my ears are technically plugged right now, but it's to give you guys better quality audio. I love little Q's and A's, Mason. Oh, why'd that sound so inappropriate when I said that? Ew. But yeah, as I was saying, I want like a oh, okay. There's a question, Mason. Why do you want to be on YouTube? This actually started, so there's a story behind that. I will answer that, Mason. But there's a couple more comments to read off. I'll tell my friends about your channel because I love your scary stories, especially the ghost ones. Thank you, Maria. I'm actually working on a new story. Uh, I'm trying to get like one or two stories written a week. Problem is like I need stories that are short enough to work on here, but long enough to have like build up and payoff. And so I actually started writing them myself after I ran out of stories I found on the internet. Sikander says, "Did you experience horror stuff in your life?" Yes, and I'm gonna get back to your question, Mason. But Sikander, this is a shorter answer, so I'll do Sikander first. Yes, but the horror like I've experienced in life is more of like the I would argue more terrifying horror based in a more grounded, not more grounded, more common reality, you know, and I think that's arguably scarier to me, than any monster is. But yeah, now back now the Mason's question about YouTube. I was actually on a run one night, and this was in October. I was on a run, and I like to run at night, and I run for a while. I run for about an hour straight. Uh, and it gets so boring. It gets so boring running. So normally about halfway through my run, I stop and I meditate just to like clear the mind, you know? And one night I'm out meditating, I'm just like so bored of my mind. I'm so creeped out by the place I'm in. And it just like kind of like I don't know, I get a little giddy when I get creeped out and stuff like that. So I actually if you go back to like my first short on YouTube, I just look so I have this massive smile on my face. And I think I am talking about like I think I just started this series on this channel called Creepy Creatures, where I described a cryptid, and that was it. That was literally the whole series. I was like, I would just be like, "This cryptid is a big bird," and that was the whole short. And yeah, that's kind of how I got started on YouTube. And I just kept uploading. I was uploading like 3 times a day at the time. Like I don't know. I was unemployed at the time. I was job hunting sucked. And so I just had more time to upload and like get better at YouTube. And so yeah, that's how I got into YouTube. And I kind of just stayed because I started building a small community on this channel and I wanted to continue to get better at YouTube. And I did take a break for a bit because I was moving and now I'm like trying to get back into it. What inspired you to make horror and spooky videos? Oh, I guess that also answers your question, Maria. But it also like it does go a little farther back than that. My mother, when I was a kid, she would actually tell me and my siblings scary stories. And my dad, he never wanted her telling us that. He would just be like, "Hey, you're gonna make them scared of everything." And my dad was, yeah, he wasn't a fan of it. But my mom would tell me scary stories. Oh, I kind of want to share a scary story with you guys. This one's a longer one, but it was one of my mother's favorite scary stories to tell me when I was 4. So who wants to hear it? Says really good. Thank you for telling me, says Mason. You're welcome, Mason. That was a great question. Thank you, Mason. How many of us want to hear that story that my mother would tell? It was, yeah. It's like a classic Mexican scary story. I am Mexican, for anyone who was wondering. I do get a lot of Indian comments. Okay, okay. So here's the scary story then, guys. Let's time travel together. Back to the 80s. We are in Mexicali, Mexico. And there is a young lady. Let's call her uh let's call her Mary, right? And so Mary, she has an overbearing father. Quite way overbearing. And so, and she's also like naturally a rebellious person. One day, she's walking down the street and there is this very, very handsome young man. And just she's just like, "Whoa, that guy's so attractive, right?" And he looks at her and, calls her over and she's just like, "Was he really talking to me?" And as they're talking, this handsome young man invites Mary to a party that's happening later that night. Only one issue. The party happens after her curfew. So this is a position Mary's in, right? She could stay home and follow her father's rules, or she could sneak out of her house after curfew and go to this party where this super attractive young man is going to be and live it up that night. And so, Mary's like, "Ooh, maybe I'll come, maybe I'll come." And she goes home and she's thinking that the whole rest of the day, the party's the only thing on her mind. And then finally comes her curfew, right? And the sun goes down, nighttime happens, and it's like 12 a.m. And Mary decides to sneak out. And so, she opens her window, climbs down, and she successfully gets out of her house without her dad knowing. And she goes to this club where she was invited to the party, walks in, and there is this absolutely dense and massive crowd of people just living it up. And there's this huge table in the middle of the room, just full of the best food you've seen in your life. Just a mountain of amazing tacos and just bowls of the best chips you've ever seen in your life. What just whatever your favorite food is, imagine that's on the table, right? And she's partying and she says to herself, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take some of this food home with me, uh, and just like have food for the rest of the few days." Hey, skibbity skibbity toilet brush, welcome to the stream. I'm finishing up a scary story, but yeah, I do want to chat with everyone in the chat too. Just yeah. So Mary says, "Hey, I'm gonna take some of this food home with me after this party, and just have food for this the weekend too. It's gonna be awesome because this food's amazing." And she grabs some food, and she notices everyone at the party stops dancing the moment she grabs some stuff, and she puts it in her purse, and they all just stand where they are and look at her. What's this about? So subject D, you walked in the middle or like near the end of one of my favorite scary stories my mom used to tell me when I was a kid. Okay, okay. So here's a summary of what's happened up until now. Girl named Mary sneaks out past her curfew, goes to a party where this attractive young man invited her, and now she took some food. And yeah, everyone at this party stopped where they were standing and looks at Mary. And Mary's freaked out, like, what the heck? And they just start pointing and laughing at her. And she's starting to notice that in this room in this club she's in, there are flames. And the faces on these people begin to distort to these demonic like grins. And so Mary's becoming terrified, right? And she looks towards the attractive young man that invited her there. And he's not attractive at all. He's got these gangrenous wounds on him. And he's laughing at her too. And then she realizes through his horns and his wings that she's not looking at an attractive young man. She's looking at the devil. And so she's terrified. She turns around, runs out the clubhouse, and successfully escapes. And suddenly, as she leaves through the front doors of this clubhouse, she sees that she's surrounded not by city, but just plains of dirt and gravel. And she gets hit by this breeze in her face, and she turns around, and there's no clubhouse there. She's alone on the top of a mountain in the middle of the night. And she looks in her bag where she put the food, and all she found was dirt and maggots. That's the whole story. That's the that's the whole scary story. It was one of my mom's favorites. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. I want to make a video out of it. Problem is, it's just so long. Like yeah. My friend believes ghosts. Okay, so Candace says my friend believes ghosts are actually aliens, but back in the days, people thought they were dead. They were like spirits, the spirits of dead people. I've never heard that theory before, Sikander, but I think it's a good theory. I think that is a good theory. I think it's a fun theory. Personally, I'm not sure if I believe in ghosts. Like, I do have so many ghost stories of the strangest things happening. And I always hear like a lot of ghost sightings are just where like there are carbon monoxide leaks. But I'm gonna be real honest. Some of the stories I have, it's like, no, no, that's definitely not what happened. Do you have any others? Do I have any other stories? I do have one. I do have one. This is one I wrote myself. Well, I haven't written it down, but it's one I made myself. And then I can follow up with it's not a story I wrote down, but an experience that I lived. And it's a ghost story. So this is a ghost story, but this isn't fictional. It really happened, I swear. It really happened. Okay. So first let's do the story I wrote. This is a story about a little girl named, let's call her Elizabeth, and her brother Robert. Robert Think about Robert. Elizabeth just knew that Robert was always messing with her, getting her in tough situations, right? One day, Elizabeth is sitting down and Robert comes out from the woods. And he's like, "Hey, Elizabeth, let's go out and play in the woods, you know?" Because it's like the 1800s and life sucks and there's nothing fun to do in the 1800s. So Elizabeth runs out to the woods with Robert, and Robert's telling her, Robert's like getting her, scared and like getting her all riled up. He's like, "Ooh, there are creatures out here that can make you see things that aren't real, make you believe things that aren't true." And she's like, "Whoa, it's weird." And telling her of all kinds of forest monster, right? And eventually, Robert and Elizabeth walk by a dark, scary cave. And Robert looks at Elizabeth and he's just like, "Hey, Elizabeth, I bet you won't run in that cave." And the thing about this cave is there was like a little bit of a divot that like dropped down like 4, maybe 4.5 feet. And so you can't really see what's like past the divot because the angle. And Elizabeth's like, "Oh, stop messing with Robert." And eventually Robert, by just calling Elizabeth the wuss, gets her to jump in the cave. Elizabeth, jumps down the cave and she's like, "Okay, I'm in here. Ha ha ha." And, she's already proven her bravery. Now she's gonna leave. And so Elizabeth like jumps, like she tries like climbing up this like 4 foot almost wall to get out the cave. And the first time she tries, she like slips because it's hard to jump a 4 foot wall, especially for a little girl. And as she slips down, she hears more movement than you would hear if you slipped off a wall. She hears something a few feet behind her, and she turns around and she sees this humanoid creature with glowing eyes, and it darts at her. And as this thing's approaching Elizabeth, she tries jumping up the wall once, slips again. The thing's sprinting at her at full speed, and it's almost to her. Like I want to say it's like 4 or 5 feet away. She jumps up, pulls herself up the wall, and as she's exiting the cave, she feels the creature's hand brush up against her ankle. And so she gets out the cave. Robert's nowhere to be seen, and so Elizabeth runs back home to her mom because she's crying, she's terrified, and she goes, "Mom, mom, mom! I was out in the woods with Robert, and Robert almost got me killed." And her mom looks at her, just confused. Yeah, you'd expect a different reaction from a mom after your sibling almost gets you killed. And Elizabeth just stands there in silence because she doesn't know what to say. And her mom just looks at her and goes, "Elizabeth, who's Robert?" And that's the whole story. What do we think of that story, guys? I'll give you all a second to type it chat. Don't worry. And then I'll share the. Okay, Maria says I'm gonna leave to bed. Ah, thanks for watching the videos, Maria. I very much appreciate it. That one's better. Oh, you like that one? Well, thanks, Subject G. I made that one myself. Thank you very much. Okay, it's getting late for me, so I'm gonna share one more story, and then I'll be back on tomorrow night. This is a story of a knocking ghost. So when I was a kid, this was me. This is real. This really happened to me. When I was a kid, I lived in this house in Kansas City, Missouri, and this house was, if any house was haunted, this house was haunted. One night, my sister had friends over. Ah, thank you, Mason. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. One night, my sister had friends over, and uh, the weeks before she had these friends over, uh, she had been complaining to us and like sleeping in our room, me and my brother's room, as opposed to her room, because she said something wouldn't stop knocking on her closet door. And of course, we thought she was just making stuff up. This is a true story, by the way, for those of you us up in the chat. We thought Ruby was just making stuff up. My sister's name's Ruby. But this night, since her friends are over, Ruby's actually hanging out playing games with us. And at about like, I want to say 12 a.m., we're in the living room. So here's the layout, right? Living room right here. Me and everyone is playing here. We have this hallway coming off of it. And right here at the end of the hallway is my sister's room door. So we're playing, and then suddenly from the end of the hallway, we just hear a knock, 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 and we all stop. We're like, "Whoa, what was that?" What just happened?" And we ignore it. We're like, "I don't know, stuff moves." We have mice. Maybe it was just mice. And we continue playing, and half an hour passes, and we hear once again, knock, knock, knock. Except this time it was a little more aggressive, a little like louder and a little stronger and a little faster. And by this point, we're like, okay, something's happened. And it's becoming more and more frequent. Knock, 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 knock. Until after about like 3 hours, this knocking is just happening constantly. And we go over to the end of the hallway to see what's going on. And it's coming from Ruby's door. And it's just knock, 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 knock. We're trying to ignore it, but the knock's getting more and more intense now. And I swear by the end of it, you could see my little sister's door flexing from this knocking that's going on. It's evolved into a banging by this point. I've never seen Dan, but I will watch it. I'm still catching up on Demon Slayer. Subject G says, at least isn't a mud monster or mutant horse from Brothers Grimm. That's traumatizing. I have seen the Brothers Grimm movie. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah, but we're trying to ignore the knocking. By this point, we can't, and so we decide to open Ruby's door and get murdered by an intruder if it's an intruder, right? And so we the door just goes bang, and mid third bang, we open the door, and there's no one there at all. Ruby's room is a mess, but no one was in it. And to this day, I have no clue. I have no clue what that was about or what was going on. But yeah, that's one of my personal ghost experiences. Thanks for joining the stream, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the scary stories. If you like the channel, I'm going to try streaming every night, and I am going to have a short come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time every single day on the channel. Do I still live there? No, 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 no. I have not lived there for a long time. That place that place was bad for more than for more than that reason. But yeah, it was a scary house to live in, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. But now I live in an apartment in North Carolina, and it's really nice. You're good, Mason. Uh yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Make sure to sub to the channel if you like the channel. I'm gonna be streaming again tomorrow night. And every day at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'll have a short come out where I just talk about a creepy thing. It's gonna be really fun. I hope y'all enjoy. Good night, everyone, and yeah, stay